Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Iconic Messengers. I have a special guest today. In my opinion, the youngest acquisition specialist in the history of mankind. We've got Ella Vandenberg with us. Ella, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Pat?
I'm fantastic. So Ella is 17 years old, and she just acquired a percentage of her first company. So she is an acquisition specialist at the young age of 17 years old. And I think that this is so cool, not just because you work with my favorite people, Carlotta, Thompson, and Mallien, but because you came into the event, the live event, where anybody from your age, or there were even some kids younger than you, right?
Mm-hmm, there were.
So from young kids to adults, I was there, and emerges a deal at 17 years old that most people would dream about. So break down the deal for people, what it is, what your percentage is, and so that they can understand what you did here.
Awesome. Yeah. So I found this deal. It is actually a med spa. It's a Hand and Stone, if y'all are familiar with that. It's super awesome. I found it on Biz Buy Sell. I was just like flipping through there like 2 weeks after the event because I was so inspired. Obviously, they're so amazing. And so I found this deal. I looked into it. I sent it to my dad, and he was kind of the one to be like, okay, let's get like an LOI over on this. Like, this looks good. We got it for 1.25.
So that's $1.25 million is what you paid for it. Okay.
Yes. And so my percentage of it was basically 19% because the SBA, I'm actually not on the grant because I'm 17 and it would be really complicated for a minor to sign those. But I'm on the actual LLC. So, yeah.
So your mom essentially co-signed for you, correct?
So my parents did. They own, it's actually a woman and veteran owned business, which is really great. They own, I think my mom owns 41% and my dad owns 40%. So.
Okay. So you took over the thing 100%. You're just the 19% of the owner.
Yeah.
So you guys 100% acquired this company. You got 19%. Mm-hmm. Your parents helped you do this. How cool is this for people out there? Because there's so many people on TikTok and on Instagram and on Facebook and on YouTube, and they're trying to be seen and heard and discovered. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing about this video that my company produced for you is it's almost at 500,000 views of you breaking down the deal. But now what I want to show people is how much you've learned and how you can help them do the same thing. Because since I was in school, which was, in the dinosaur era compared to what we're talking about today, just school has changed. Technology has changed to the point where look at how cool we can have this conversation. We can inspire people all over the internet to take action and, bring their dreams to life. But you also found a way to create financial freedom for yourself, and you haven't even graduated high school. There are college graduates that are 40, 41, my age, that still are struggling to find financial freedom. Are you going to attempt to duplicate this process moving forward?
100%. I'm actually already looking for my next deal.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I actually turn 18 in October, and so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, by then I can have something that I would be primarily owner of.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, the fact that you were able to wrap this thing up this quickly, I think anyone that follows me or any of these people that run conferences that I work with, it will be impressed to hear this and to see this video. That's why I think it's so important for us to put it out there, because there's just so much noise and there's so much ego and everybody wants to be big. And listen, I'm all about competition, by the way. The world is a competitive place. It's human nature. But at the same time, what a breath of fresh air to see someone come in, learn from people that have helped so many of us, including myself, win. Mm-hmm. It's just cool. And so how did your parents get in touch with Carlotta and Mallien?
So it's actually kind of a funny story. Instagram Reels. My mom was just swiping on there and she saw Carlotta's page and she was like, "Whoa, this like can't be real," because everybody is like, "How is she doing this? She's so awesome." And then we found out that she was having a live event, and so we got tickets. We drove down there, and yeah, super
That's so
awesome.
amazing. That's so amazing because my company, when my company first started as like a real media brand, and I decided to stop driving around in a van and get serious about my career and really try and put my talents into media and helping other people get their message out there. Kyle hired me to do his event, and I met Carlotta at that event. And when we produced her stuff and his stuff, it just completely blew the business up. I would actually argue that Carlotta Thompson, and there's one other guy, my buddy RJ Bates, who's totally similar style, just real estate. Those two, I mean, without Carlotta Thompson, I don't know that our company would have made it
Yeah,
because
that's
she
super great.
cares so much and like wanted me to blow her thing, and it just took off for her personality and the way she cares and she pulls people up. It's just so awesome, and I want to make sure that I magnify people like that because now you are a product of those two, and they're like premier representations of the realness that is out there for people to get results. So how long between you sending an LOI 2 weeks after the event to closing the deal? How long was the window there? Was it 3 months? Was it 4 months?
So it was actually around 3 months when we sent the LOI. I was actually at my state volleyball tournament, so there was like a lot going on, and we were supposed to close on December 1st, but there was an issue with the appraisal, and so we closed on December 27th.
Wow. So about 120 days, 90 days, 120 days. That's unbelievable because usually that doesn't happen. Usually it takes people months and months and months and months and months. And that's where I wanted to go with this because as I told you, when we were growing up, it was real estate. Those are the people that are rich. But what I realized was there's a difference between rich and wealthy. All the really wealthy people, the billionaires, are in private equity, which is mergers and acquisitions, which is what you've done here. And so again, when you're a knucklehead like I was when I was your age, I just wanted to play my guitar and sing. But again, technology was so different back then. All we had was like MTV, Ella. We had like MTV and like that was it. And that's how you found all the celebrities. Now it's like all in front of your face to the point where it's almost a distraction to some people. Now, as
Yeah.
someone who even like runs a agency that creates this content, part of my job is to make sure people have something to watch that's going to help them get their dream, right? If I want to live my dreams, the best way for me to do that is to help Carlotta live her dreams and to help Kyle Mallien live his dreams and to help you, Ella Vandenberg, live her dreams. I want to see you. I want to be introducing you on the stage in 10 years in front of 10,000 people and being like,
Okay.
dude, I did the interview 10 years ago before all you started jumping on the bandwagon with my homegirl here. What
It's
do
the
you have
deal.
to say? What do you have to say to teenagers that maybe they're struggling to find themselves? The world is so confusing. I can't even imagine for a young kid. And I have a daughter named Ella. I haven't even mentioned that yet, but my daughter's name is Ella. She's 6. And she's so energetic and so excited. And she goes to school. And I feel like it breaks her soul a little bit. Like she's not able to be her full thing. What do you have to say for kids and even girls that are out there struggling with this like celebrity TikTok era of the world?
Honestly, I don't have everything figured out yet. I feel like there's so much pressure on young people these days. Like, I get asked every day, like, what are you doing for college? What are you doing for this? What are you doing for that? And honestly, I feel like people are so concerned now about getting wealthy or getting rich or finding their partner or everything else. And I feel like we really just need to enjoy it day by day because honestly, I love what I'm doing. I love my life. I love business. I love doing all this, but it is honestly so it's so tempting to get wrapped up in social media. Like you see the Kardashians or anyone else, and you're like, wow, I really wish I had their life. You know, they have it so easy. But nobody has it so easy. You know, they also have things that they probably don't tell anyone. And so I really just think it's awesome to be like mindful and present in your life and to be content with who you are, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, we met and we hung out at this thing, and it was just so cool to see that many young people in alignment for actually building a financial future. Because I grew up, my dad is actually a forensic accountant, which means that he is an accounting expert that goes into court and represents a person that had money stolen from them in fraud cases. And so if you ever, and you kind of know me now a little bit, I'm brutally honest about like what money I haven't made and what money I have made. Like I really never had a 6-figure year till I was 38. That was 2021. And, you know, now we almost did $1 million in revenue last year. We did like, you know, 800 and something.
Congrats.
And so I know, isn't that great? And so like my life is changing so much, but I think that what I did learn was people. All those years of driving around and meeting people and working with servers and bartenders and cooks and the people that had to serve others or they couldn't eat. And so I think that it is our job to provide the service of communication to people so that they can get the knowledge and the education and the context that they need to like make that big leap. Because if I never would have made this funny song video for this guy on named Grant Cardone on Instagram, I might still be singing in the corner. But when I didn't have any money, I took my time to make him that song for free because what I was getting from his content was benefiting my mindset. And for that show of gratitude, I got a position performing in front of 10,000 people, and it changed my life. It saved my career.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
awesome.
I feel like your testimony has the ability to give people that hope to go out and do something way bigger than they thought possible. Because I think some people, they're 17 or 18 and they're like, well, I got to get a job at CVS or I got to work at the taco place or I got to do whatever because I can't afford college.
Yeah.
And my parents are working 3 or 4 jobs to try and feed us and the dog. And I have sisters and they're young or whatever their situation is. I think Americans are struggling right now and they don't want to admit it.
They are for sure. Yeah. A year ago, I was working at a custard shop for $13 an hour. I've been working since I was 15 and I've really just seen the world and I realized that I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life, you know? And so I really tried to find a way out of that. And I think that's awesome that you did.
Yeah. And I think that once again, it just comes down to who are you communicating with and how are you communicating to them? And you did a great job of learning this style, this breakdown style from Kyle Mallien, who's literally the premier guy at doing this. You know what I mean? And you were able to take that and you were able to communicate it to a business owner, get them an agreement. You communicated it to your parents. They got behind you and you guys closed this thing. And now this is, I've never seen this before. I got to be honest. I've been around for a while now in the guru and business and hoopla, let's all get rich space. I've never seen this play before. And I've always said, you know, when you put people over profit, everybody wins. And that's a Mallienism. That's a Kyle Mallienism. And it's so true because it's just the only way that works. I mean, how are you going to help find more? Are you looking for partners on deals? I know you're a part of the group, the Inner Circle group, which great people, by the way. How do you think you're going to do the next deal? Are you guys going to just source it yourself and close it? Are you looking for people to jump in and bring you deals? How does that work for you now that you're a acquisition specialist before the age of 18?
Honestly, I am open to anything. Like a deal isn't something solid, it's not black and white. So I'm really open to just anything at this point.
I really love that answer because I think a lot of people are in a rush to get a deal done, just to get a deal done, instead of really looking at the landscape and figuring out how do I want to do this? Is this fitting the buy box? This is the thing. This is Kyle 101. It's just why yours worked. The buy box is really important. You don't want to ever make up your own buy box to go along with an expert's strategy. You either follow the strategy or it doesn't work. And I think people get that confused when it comes to mentors. It's so important to find the correct mentor for your style. Kyle's very quick. He's very efficient. He's very concise. He's very precise. And so when you're able to attack like a sniper, instead of just firing off all over the place, you're able to really zero in on the end result instead of just closing a deal. So for you, what is that buy box moving forward? If you had to break it down for people, maybe even some high school kids, what you did here, when you're going and you're looking for a deal, what are you looking for?
So first of all, my biggest takeaway from Kyle and Carlotta is to not get attached to a deal until you, like the day you close, because it's just, a deal can fall through like that, and I've seen it so many times. One did yesterday, and so you just have to like shake it off and be like, okay, let's find the next one. As for the buy box, it has to be like, I think he said 10 years old, but mine is 8, so sorry, Kyle. It has to have more than 10 employees, and honestly, he said that the buy box, like, you can go outside of it a little bit depending on your situation. My company has only been open for 8 years, but the margins and the growth are really great. So just, yeah.
No, it's great. It's awesome. I'm actually taking some notes, and I was actually texting Kyle too. I think this is so fascinating that this education is readily available. And so there's another event coming up. I don't know if you're going to be there, the February event.
I will.
Hopefully you will be. Good for you. So I'll be there as well. And this is just one of those things that I wanted to get documented, and I wanted to put out to the world that, I mean, if you've got, a big vision, and you're young, there is so much technology now that's available that can get you in the right rooms with the right people and the right deals. And one chess move could change the entire trajectory of, generations of your family. And I never thought about it when I was young because I thought I was bulletproof and invincible, Ella. And I thought that if I just go out there and rock the world hard enough that it'll pan out. And I got to be honest, somehow God found me, called me to do this, and I always believed that, and it ended up working for me so far.
Good for you.
Unless it crashes and burns tomorrow, which it could happen. I think we're going to be okay. I think I found the right people. But the thing I want people to know is that you don't have to change who you are. You just need to do who you are in front of the right people. So where you do who you are is really important. And you were able to find these people because I don't know if they even existed back when I was coming up in the game, but you found these people so young. And so if there's someone out there that doesn't want to go to, maybe college isn't for everybody, what are the options for them as far as business? And how can they use this style to make it happen quicker?
So honestly, there are tons of different paths you can take. I just happened to veer left, as my mom said. I'm not going to college personally. I decided to do business instead, and I have no regrets at all. What I would say to start with is just reading books, honestly. I am a huge reader, And getting in that right mindset to do deals and everything is so awesome. One of the books that I really love is Rich Dad Poor Dad. And also, I just read accounting books to really try to understand the financials of it, because if you're buying a business and you have no idea what you're buying, that's a problem, you know?
I think it's a problem for a lot of business owners is that they just don't even know their numbers. And
Yeah,
so I think
exactly.
people always ask me that. They're like, well, how did you survive 15 years barely making any money? And it's like, well, I always knew my numbers. It was always right there around zero.
Yeah.
It wasn't that hard to keep track of. And as long as I didn't go below zero, I felt like I was making it. And it's so funny because there's so many people that are my age, Ella, right? And they're at these events and stuff, and they want everyone to think that they're rich or wealthy. And there's nothing wrong with being rich or wealthy. I think it's great. But I think that it's very important to just be what you are or where you're at. And I think I was so broke when I came into the game that when I started to meet these people, because they saw me on the internet and then booked me for their events, and they started to see me and they were like, this guy looks like he plays for $100 at the bar. Like, he literally looks like it. Like, you saw a very refined version of Pat Hilton when you met me in 2023. Ella, okay? Let's just be real. Because before you were even born, I was bouncing around on stages. And so I think it's just so cool for everyone out there to know that, like, it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how young you are. If you stick to specific processes that are proven, they work. One of them is getting around the right people. And the other one is promoting yourself on social media. And I think it's going to be really important for you. And this is my challenge to you here at the end of our time today, because I run a media company. I'm going to give you a free lifetime membership to our mastermind, by the way. It's not even launched yet. And I'm going to be selling this. It's a $15,000 fee for lifetime. I feel like that's fair. I don't need to charge everybody every year. I'm not like a guru education person, but I do think there needs to be a fee to communicate with like my inner circle. And I don't think that's a bad fee. Yeah. But I think that people like you are going to be very important to the progress of our industry, because we need young women like you, A, thriving, and B, showing people on social media real life. So can you do that for your boy Pat, is to get on social media, even if it's just once a week, twice a week? I'm not saying you have to do it every day. Okay. I don't want to be the naggy friend, but just as someone who knows how powerful this tool is if used correctly, which is, I think, what people out there are starting to pick up from the conversation, is we're using the stuff that we're learning and we're activating it quickly and taking action on it. If I wouldn't have followed up with Grant Cardone on the song, I never would have got the conference. The conference was my idea. He asked artists to make videos and I made one, but the conference was my follow-up. And so for people out there that really want to make something happen, hit up your girl, Ella, and she is going to be giving you some video updates from her life and from some deals she's looking at. Even if I have to edit them for you, I will edit them for you so that you have them.
Okay. Sounds good.
And if you have any words for people out there that are struggling, I brought this up earlier, but to just take it a step further, I think people can feel so down on themselves because they're not rich or wealthy or famous or look like this movie star or that person, or they're not Taylor Swift or whatever it is. How can those people come to grips with the fact that we're all supposed to be different and we're all unique and that we all have the same shot at success?
Yeah, exactly. We're all human, you know, we all have like the ability to do great things. And I think that the mental game is so powerful. If you believe that you can do it, you know?
Absolutely. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the youngest acquisition specialist in the game, in the history of mankind. We got Ella Vandenberg in the building. Thank you so much for your time. I am so proud of you. Can't wait to see you at the event in February. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep the people updated. You can follow us in the free group, Viral Marketing, the People's Mastermind. This is Iconic Messengers, and we'll see you on the next one.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Pat.